Good day, folks. Mr. Garry here from GBL, the old church, 5 Acre Homestead. Can you see me behind all of these brand new garden tools that I have here in my hand? Mr. Garry is getting ready to do a spring video. We're going to be planting now, so join me, folks. I'm getting ready to do some spring planting. Look right there over my shoulder. You can see a couple of containers, a green one and a red one. We're going to get started today planting or sowing some seeds. And right next to those two containers is our AeroGarden. I'm going to talk to you about that, and I'm also going to talk to you about these brand new tools. Take a look at this spread that Mr. Garry has placed on our countertop here in our kitchen, folks. First, let's talk about the AeroGarden. Look at that. We have a couple of romaine lettuce plants that we planted about 20 days ago, and a couple of cherry tomato plants as well. And they're growing very, very well. We might even take them out of the AeroGarden very, very soon and transplant those into some large containers, or they might even end up out in our greenhouse. Now, before we get to talking about these two containers and the sowing of some seeds, I want to share this with you. Very recently, Miss Betty ordered some new gardening tools on Amazon. These were in the warehouse, the packages were damaged, and Miss Betty got them for a really, really good deal. Each pack contains 5 tools and a pair of gloves. Beautiful, beautiful tools. Look at that, a nice spade right there. There's another spade as well. We have 2 of each, as I said, and this spade is also very clever for actually sowing, planting, because it does have some measurements actually right on the blade part of the spade in inches and in centimeters. So that's clever. We've got a couple of forks. This large one right here, a fork that's also bended or curved. Okay, so there you go. We also have this one for getting out some of the weeds that can get into your garden. A nice one right here. So as I said, we've got 2 of everything, a full set for Miss Betty and a full set for Mr. Garry, and a pair of gloves each. We are all ready to go with our raised bed vegetable garden and our greenhouse this spring, folks. But we need the weather to cooperate, of course, because we are still in the middle of winter weather, even though it is spring. Let's get at those 2 containers, and we're going to sow today. We're going to sow some parsley, and we're also going to sow some sweet basil. That's what's going in those 2 containers today, folks. These containers you get at the dollar store, or you get these at the Dollar Tree if you're in the USA. Great little containers, very, very cheap. Great to begin your spring sowing, your spring planting. And that's what we're going to do. So join me, folks. Join Mr. Garry here at GBL, the old church, 5 Acre Homestead. Okay, I'm going to start by rolling up my sleeves and donning a pair of those gloves, folks. That's what I'm going to do right now. Get my gloves on, and I'm going to try out a couple of those brand new gardening tools. Here we are. I'm going to fluff up the soil. The soil comes in a big puck, and you have to put it in water overnight, and that's what we did. So this was in water now for 24 hours, and it has swollen or enlarged quite a bit, folks. So I just need to loosen up the puck into some very, very loose soil in this container, the green one. Okay, so that's nice and fluffed up and aerated, I guess would be the correct word. I'm going to do the same thing with this one. I'm going to fluff up or aerate this soil as well. Okay, it is currently really, really moist, and it needs to be moist. Okay, so I've got these 2 pretty much ready there now, and I'm going to open up these packages of seeds. This one is parsley moss curled, and this other one is sweet basil. So that's what's going in those 2 containers. I have 1 package of the seeds opened up, 1 pack of the parsley seeds opened up, and there you see they're very, very tiny. There's about probably 8 or 10 seeds in this little package, and I'm going to loosen up the soil a little bit, And these don't need to be planted very far down into the soil. Just sprinkle them over the top actually. And then I can just use a little bit of the soil to cover them up. So I'm just gonna sprinkle these seeds around and watch as I sprinkle. Okay, because I want to try to get them all over the place. Okay, so if you look closely now, there's one seed right there, another one over there, there's a 2 or 3 right there. So they're all sprinkled over the top of this soil. Now this one came with a second package, so I'm going to open this package and put them in this one as well. Both packages of the parsley seeds have been placed all around, sprinkled all around the top of this container. Yeah, I'm just going to try to cover them up just a little bit with the soil, and I'm going to press it down just a slight bit, not a lot folks, just a slight amount, okay, just to cover them over. And if I see one, which I'm seeing there now, I'm going to make sure that one is covered as well. Okay, cover them up, Mr. Garry, just a little bit with the soil. And then we're going to take this container and we're going to put it in a warm place in front of a window for the next 3 or 4 weeks. Now, it says it takes about 4 weeks for these to germinate, so I'll be updating you as the process unfolds. Now, here's the second one. We're going to put in this one a pack of sweet basil. This one came with just 1 package, where the other one came with 2. So we're going to put this package of sweet basil in the orange container or the red container. Okay, this package contains around 10 seeds, folks. And these are little black seeds, so I'm going to carefully and gingerly place these seeds on the top of this red container. Okay, now if I can do that, I almost need a pair of tweezers because I want to make sure that I get them. I want to make sure that I get them evenly distributed across the top of the container. Hopefully you can see me, folks. There's a little seed right there between my thumb and finger. Okay, I'm going to just drop it in the container. And I'm going to take the other ones and do the same thing. Sweet basil seeds are now in the container as well. And I'm just going to carefully cover them with the soil. I'm never going to see those because they're so tiny, the little black things in this dark soil. Okay, but if I just cover them carefully. Okay, we'll go just a little bit, Mr. Garry. Now, like I said, I'm going to be putting these 2 containers in front of a window for the next few weeks. I'll add a little bit of water too now, I think, even though the soil is a little bit moist. Okay, so these are done and ready to place in front of a window. I chose to place the 2 containers on the windowsill in our spare room overlooking our raised bed vegetable garden and our greenhouse. Folks, we have lots of videos on our YouTube channel of our greenhouse and of our raised bed vegetable garden. So please go check that out. In the meantime, these 2 plants, the parsley and the sweet basil, are going to be sitting here in those containers longing to get out into the soil in either the raised beds or the greenhouse. But for now, this is where they will have to stay. I've got about a cup of lukewarm water here that I'm going to sprinkle over the top of these 2 containers. So half a cup in each, just over the top, around where the seeds are, because the seeds are just a little ways down. So about half of it went into that one. I'm going to place the other half in this one. Hopefully you can see that. The lukewarm water, I hope, will help with the germination process to crack open the hulls or the husk on those little seeds and get things started, get the germination process started. We have parsley, moss curly, and we also have sweet basil here on our windowsill. Folks, I want to thank you for joining me today. Appreciate that so very, very much. And as always, folks, Mr. Garry and Miss Betty, we do appreciate you tuning in to our YouTube channel. And that's GBL, the Old Church, 5 Acre Homestead. Thanks for leaving all those great comments, and thanks for subscribing to our YouTube channel. Folks, we will see you in our next video. Bye for now. Over the next few weeks now, we'll be doing some updates on how these 2 plants are doing, on how the parsley and how the sweet basil is doing. Hopefully, they'll be safe here on the windowsill, overlooking the raised bed garden and greenhouse. It's a beautiful day today, so the hot sun might help as well get the germination process started. So there you have it, folks. Our sweet basil and parsley moss curly herbs are sold in those 2 containers. And they are sitting there on the window ledge, folks. And see my hand in the mirror. Mr. Garry is waving to you. Hope you're all doing very, very well today.